Good morning, class. We've been looking at the elements of literature. So far, we've looked at the theme, character, plot, setting, point of view, and now I want us to look at another element, which is called the tone. Before we look at the tone, I hope you're writing these things in your notes. They are very important. These things we are learning now, you will learn them until your university. You will still be tackling them until your university, until you get to your university. Even when you get to Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5, you'll be dealing with these same things. So make sure that you're serious about them. Write them down in your notebooks. When you open schools, I will cross-check each and every notebook. If I find out that you don't have these notes, because it has taken me a lot of research to come up with these lessons. So if I cross-check your notebooks and I don't find them, you will not enter my class until you have written all these notes. This is not for me. I always tell you, I already went through these things, but this is for your own good and for your own future. So let's look at the tone as an element of literature. In literature, tone is the emotional coloring or the emotional meaning of the work and provides an extremely important contribution to the full meaning of the story. So, a tone of a story is the emotional meaning of the story. It's very important as a writer to include some emotions in your writing. By emotions, I don't mean that sad emotions. There can be different emotions. In spoken language, it is indicated by the inflection of the speaker's voice. How you speak can tell if you're an emotional person, happiness, sadness. The emotional meaning of a statement may vary widely according to the tone of the voice. So we already looked at that. Now we're looking at the tone of your voice. How you speak aggressively, calmly, can also carry an emotional meaning. The tone is your voice. So if you speak aggressively, angrily, it can also tell an emotional element of the story. Remember, I said the tone is the emotional meaning of the story or the emotional coloring to a story. As I said, the emotional meaning of a statement may vary according to the tone of the voice with which it is uttered. The tone may be sarcastic, incredulous, despairing, or resigned. So in other words, don't worry about too much about these confusing words. You can check your dictionaries for their meaning, but in simpler terms, I could tell you, as I already said, a tone can be aggressive, calm, just depends on how you're speaking. In poetry, we cannot really understand a poem unless we have accurately sensed whether the attitude it manifests is playful, solemn, or mocking, or reverent, or calm, or excited. In spoken language, the speaker's voice can guide us to the tone. The way I'm speaking here can make you tell the tone. But the correct determination of tone in literature is much more delicate than just speaking. So let's look at the elements of a tone. These include diction. Diction is simply the word used. How you use in your words is the tone. Are you writing more about sadness, goodness, aggressiveness? Or the sadness, the tone in the character oftenly crying, oftenly sad, speaks the tone. How are you representing your characters in the story? And then we have another element of tone, what we call syntax. This is the grammatical arrangements of the words in a text. The way you arrange your grammar is what we call syntax. Don't worry too much about these things. For your level now, just know that syntax is the way you arrange your grammar in your story. Then we have imagery. These are what the vivid appeals to the senses. So imagery is something you can write. As a writer, they use imagery. We can say a good example is you can depict a bird as carrying some sort of a message. That bird is just an imagery, a vivid appeals. It's an imagery to something. You are using a bird as a symbol to portray a certain type of message. So that's imagery. And details. A tone, an element of tone is also constitutes details as well. These are facts that are included or omitted. According to Harry Shaw Dictionary, tone can be determined by 3 points: an author's attitude or focus point. In this concern, the tone can be realistic, somber, depressing, romantic, adventurous. So this is what I've been telling you. In simpler terms, an author's attitude or focus point can give us a direction of the tone. In this, for instance, the tone can be realistic, somber, depressing, and romantic. Another thing is the device is used to create the mood and atmosphere of literary work. In this sense, the tone consists of alliteration, assonance, consonance, diction, imagery, theme, symbolism. This is what I was saying. A bird, you can put up a bird to depict a certain sort of a message. This is what we call symbolism or imagery. You can read on these things. When you hear a new word or when you see a new word, write it down, research on the meaning. It will also help you to know more of these things. And we have the third element with what we call the musical quality in language. Here the tone depends upon the sounds of words. So how you pronounce the words also has a tone behind it. Thank you very much. We stop here. In our next lesson, we shall be finishing hopefully on the elements of literature. Then we'll look at another topic. Thank you very much.